The do's and don'ts of arguments. Hey guys, my name is Danny and I'm your life and relationship coach. And today we are talking about arguments, right? How to navigate them, how to communicate with your partner, the do's and the don'ts of arguments. So often in my one-on-one coaching sessions, these are the types of things that I'm dealing with, right? On a daily basis, couples that don't necessarily know how to communicate with one another. And if you're watching this video, I'm sure you are probably in the same boat. You are feeling like you can't get through to your partner. You can't get through to your husband, your wife. It feels so difficult, like they're not listening, like you're not really getting anywhere. You're on a merry-go-round where you keep repeating the same issues over and over and over again, and nothing ever really feels like it's getting resolved. And I completely understand that, right? Realistically speaking, we aren't really taught how to navigate communication in relationships. You know, there aren't courses in high school or college in regards to communicating with a partner or a spouse. Now, there are communication courses, but it's more geared towards a professional capacity, right? And for us, really trying to apply that in a intrapersonal, emotional, romantic relationship can be really difficult. So how do you navigate it, right? How do you get through some of these arguments and these difficult conversations? Because at the end of the day, arguments are inevitable in a relationship. They are going to happen no matter what. And it's really about how you approach them. It's really about how you work through them. And it's really about how you communicate with your partner, right? So let's start off with the do's, okay? The first thing, you want to practice active listening. So what does that mean, right? Active listening is when you are completely engaged in the conversation. You are focused on your partner. There is nothing else that is going on around you that is distracting you. So how do you do that, right? How do you actually exercise active listening? The first thing is eye contact. You want to make sure you are making eye contact with your partner the entire time that you are speaking to them. You want to make sure that your body language shows that you are interested in the conversation. So that means your arms are open, your chest is wide open like this. So you're actually receiving the information. You're not crossing your arms. You're not rolling your eyes. You're not looking around the room. You're not focusing on other things, right? You're engaged. You're focused here, me and you speaking. The other part of that is the physical and the verbal cues, right? So a physical cue would be nodding your head, right? In agreement with what they are saying, or maybe you disagree with something. So you're nodding your head no, or you're kind of showing them that you don't necessarily agree with what they're saying. The other one is verbal cues, right? So you're saying yes, and I understand, and of course, and to validate your partner and make them feel and understand that, yeah, you are present in this moment and you are listening to what they're saying. And the last part of it, which is one of the most important parts, is acknowledgement, right? So you are reiterating the information back to them to clarify anything that you may not have understood. And not only that, but you're also letting them know that you obviously were listening throughout the entire conversation because you're able to communicate back to them what they are saying. The second thing in regards to the do's is clear communication, right? So what are your intentions? Speaking intentionally. If you have a need, if you have some kind of expectation, how are you communicating that, right? How are you discussing that with your partner? Are you being vague? Are you being clear? Are you being kind of gray zone? Are you black and white? What is your form of communication? Because at the end of the day, when you are speaking to your partner, it is so important to be clear with what it is you are wanting, what it is your expectations are, what your boundaries are. But the primary thing that I say to people is say what you mean, don't say it mean. Because if you say it in a mean way, tone has everything to do with how a lot of arguments start. And for anybody out there who has been in an argument with your partner, 9 times out of 10, you know that usually it starts with the tone, right? The way in which you said something, the way in which you said it, how you said it, the emotions that were underneath it, all of that. It makes a big difference. So if you're able to communicate clearly, if you're able to say to your partner, hey, specifically, this is what I need in this moment, it clears a lot of assumptions, a lot of theoreticals, and a lot of that kind of crazy negative mind things that happen with your partner when they don't really know what's going on, right? Where they feel like they don't have all the information. The third thing, and the do's of the arguments is setting healthy boundaries, right? So if you are in an argument with your partner and you aren't fully comfortable and you feel like you are at a disadvantage and that you're not really able to get your point across, it is okay to walk away from the conversation, right? But you have to communicate clearly and effectively and let your partner know where you stand in that moment. So for an example of a clear boundary, a good, healthy boundary, if your partner has the tendency of starting to raise their voice at you when you start to get into an argument and it makes you shut down, a clear boundary would be, hey, the next time that we have an argument or conversation, if you start to raise your voice, I'm going to walk away because I'm unable to express myself when you do because I shut down, right? You are setting a clear, healthy boundary and saying, hey, the next time this happens, this is how I'm going to approach the situation. I'm just letting you know ahead of time so that you know for the reason for why I am walking away. But the main thing and the most important thing is to come back to the conversation and finish it. Because if you do not, it will be just another unresolved issue that you have. The final one is, like I said, and it kind of piggybacks off of the setting clear boundaries, is take a time out, right? If you're overwhelmed in the conversation, if it's been going on for too long, if you feel like you, again, are at a disadvantage, if your partner's emotions are running really high, if your emotions are running really high, take a time out. It's okay. It is okay to step away from the conversation and compose yourself so that you're actually able to come back to the conversation and have a productive and efficient conversation where you're actually resolving issues. Because if you are exhausted emotionally and mentally and you continue to try to have this conversation and you don't step away from it, you're not going to get anywhere. And people make that common mistake where they feel that if they are walking away from the conversation, they are not resolving the issue. But in reality, it could be the best thing that you do in that moment. So what are the don'ts, right? What are things that couples have a tendency of doing in an argument that result in them not being able to resolve their issues? The first one is speaking over each other, right? Don't do that. Don't speak over your partner. It's not going to get you anywhere. The point of a conversation, the point of resolving an issue is to hear each other out, to parlay. To say, okay, you have time to express yourself and your feelings and your emotions. I have time to express myself and my feelings and my emotions. And how are we going to come to a middle ground? How are we going to resolve the issue at hand? How are we going to move past this? If you guys are just talking over each other, right, talking at each other and not with each other, nothing is ever going to get resolved. Because really what it comes down to is that you start to allow your pride and your ego to take over because you want to win the argument. You want to be the one that's heard. You want to be, the person who gets the point across. But the reason for why you feel that way is because you don't feel heard in the first place. You don't feel understood in the first place. So now that you're given the stage, you want to take full advantage of it. I understand. But it's going to work negatively for you if you don't allow yourself to take a breath and listen as well. Because a big part of communication isn't just talking, it's also about listening. The second don't is arguing to win, right? It's not about that. You shouldn't be arguing to win. You should be arguing to understand. You should be conversing with your partner to understand. And if you are getting into an argument with your partner because you just want to be right, you just want to win, you just want to know, let them know that you are, the person who's going to win this argument, or vice versa. Maybe your partner is doing that to you. Again, it's not going to get anywhere. The point and the purpose of arguing, of communicating with your partner is to clear the air, is to clear the table, put everything out, right? And to get over whatever the issue is. So if you're just trying to win, then you can continue to try to win. But all it's going to do is dig a deeper hole for you, and you're going to take the communication to a point where it's completely broken and it's going to be really difficult to fix. And the last and final don't is ultimatums. You do not want to give ultimatums when you are arguing with your partner, right? So it's if you don't do this, I'm going to leave you. If you don't do this, I'm not going to do this. If you don't clean the dishes, I'm not going to. Those types of conversations, it doesn't do anything. It's threatening, right? It's aggressive. And your partner's not going to find that attractive or sexy, number one. Number two, they're going to be immediately put on guard because you're approaching them with an ultimatum. So you're really kind of taking away their autonomy as a human being and saying, you don't have any choices. These are the two choices that I'm giving you. And one of the primary things about relationships and maintaining and sustaining a healthy relationship is being able to maintain a sense of independence, right? Self-identity. And what you were doing when you were giving somebody an ultimatum is that you were stripping them of that self-identity and that independence, and you're not allowing them to actively try to find solutions for themselves and for you or the relationship. You are literally saying to them option A and option B, and that's not fair. Communication, again, like I said, is one of the biggest parts of a relationship. And if this is the area in which you are struggling, which my assumption is you are if you are watching this video, I have created an incredible product that I highly recommend in regards to communication. If you go to the website, www.happily-committed.com, and you click on our section that says products, you can find the communication training there. And what I do in that training is I break down the fundamentals of communication and how to resolve conflict. I provide you with exercises. I provide you with hours worth of content in regards to audio and visual, ideas, how to start to break down communication, the difference between a fair fight and an unfair fight. It is all there at your fingertips, guys. I promise you it will change the dynamic of your relationship. So right after this video, you should go over there and check it out and purchase it because it will help you currently in the situation that you're in. If you guys like this video, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. I love to have conversations with people. So if you just want to drop a comment down below, you have a question, you have an opinion, I would love to see it. I try to read as many as possible. I try to answer as many as possible. Maybe you just want to know a little bit more, right? You want to dive a little bit deeper. You can visit us at www.happilycommitted.com, where we have a multitude of different articles and blogs and videos related to this subject and many other subjects as well. Maybe you just need some coaching, right? You feel like your situation is very specific and you just need a little extra help. I would be more than happy to support you in that. You can either book directly with myself via the website or any of the other amazing coaches that we have on the team. Again, my name is Danny. I'm your life and relationship coach. I hope you're staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you soon.